Hi, I'm Carol, and I'm here with my Instagram therapist, Melanie, but I'm here on YouTube, and that's okay. This is my book, and I wanted to show it to you because it's actually in book form, and even though it's not available, it will be very soon. So, on an energy level, you can get excited. I hope. Okay. All right, Melanie, where should we start?
Yeah, so we were talking earlier about um, vulnerability and boundaries. Do you want to start there?
Yeah, sure. I well, I'm I'm just going to change that for this conversation
Yeah.
to vulnerability and strength because vulnerability includes weakness, okay? Vulnerability is being susceptible to even danger, and that's a dictionary definition. So it's being susceptible. On the other hand, if we allow that in, if we allow ourselves to have all the feelings that we can manage, then we're going to get in touch with weakness. We're all going to also get in touch with strength and anger and all the different parts. So that I think when people talk about vulnerability, it can sound very mushy and sometimes too smooth. And even though I talk about how edgy and messy it can be, I do want to also stress something that I think is not thought of, which is that when we get in touch with how vulnerable we are, we get to know ourselves better, which means we can define ourselves better, which means we can be flexible to shifting, but if it's too much at a given time, we can know that too, which puts us in a position of being able to define something about us, which puts us in a position to have boundaries. And one of the things I'm talking about in terms of getting to know ourselves is if we get to know the parts of ourselves which are assertive, we don't have to think of vulnerability just as something tender. We can afford to be assertive. We can afford to win. We can afford to protect ourselves against tyranny, and from there we could say something political, but I'll go back to you.
Yeah, and